Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I hope everybody's doing good, boys. I want to start by saying Ramadan Kareem wal Mubarak alaykum al Shahr. I hope that everybody's safe and they're at home and we're all doing well in this Ramadan, this very interesting Ramadan. I think this is going to be the most memorable Ramadan you ever have in your life because you're going to be at home. It's going to be very different than any Ramadan, maybe inshallah next year's Ramadan. Um, and we have a lot of time to spend with our family. So let's increase our ibadah and show Allah how much we love Him and how much we're happy to have another month and another Ramadan and to have this time with our families. So inshallah it'll be good. This month I chose a new book for you guys, Salah al-Din, and this is a Raz Kids book. Inshallah, we'll finish it this week, and I have another one. It's a novel about Salah al-Din, and um, he's a hero of Islam, and it's somebody who I really want to teach you guys about. He's better than Robin Hood, honestly. He's one of the most interesting characters in Islamic history, and I think it's really important to learn about him. So inshallah, we're going to be studying about Salah al-Din and his life and all the great things he did in Islam, for Islam, and that'll be the focus this Ramadan. Okay, all right. Now, before we begin, so here's a list of the words that I think are going to be a little bit challenging in the book, and so I found the translations in Arabic, and I found these off of Google. So I don't know if they're the best ones. If they're not, please forgive me. I'll try to say some the same way I do in class. But if I'm saying them the wrong way or I'm not doing a good job, please forgive me. You know, Arabic is not my first language, and the way you guys learn English, the same way I try to learn Arabiya. So I just try the best I can. So the first one is advocated. Advocated is like da'a. You know, when you're trying to push for something, you're trying to make something happen. You know, and the second word is antagonistic. Antagonistic is when you're like the enemy of something, you hate something. So the translation they came up with was mu'ad. Okay. The third one is besieged, and Qatar is kind of besieged right now. So we're under the siege, which is the hisar, and so the word they gave me was muhasir, right? Um, so it's just an example of the same way that Qatar is besieged, we're being surrounded by our neighbors. Salah ad-Din was also in a similar situation. Okay. Desecrated is when you really ruin something. So if they destroy the masjid, right? So the word that they gave me was tadnis. Tadnis. I don't know if that's exactly it, but it's kind of like when you go into the masjid and you spit or you do something bad. It's like you're desecrated the masjid. Ethnicity. Okay. Al-asl, al-arqi. I know al-asl is like your ethnicity, right? So for example, you're Arab. Salah al-Din was Kurdish, right? He was not Arab, but he was Kurdish, okay? Harassed, okay? Harassed, they say mudayiqa. Mudayiqa is like, when you're bothering somebody. Harassment is when you're bothering somebody. So somebody who harasses you is a dayiq, right? And so the same way you'll have somebody who just likes to pick on you and bother you. So in this situation, there was a man who was attacking the Muslims and he was harassing them. Okay. Integrity is like your respect, your sharaf, right? Al-nizaha, so how you treat other people, how you okay, I'll give an example. If you have integrity, I know that you will not lie, right? So I'll give an example from our class. Um, Actually, any of you boys, mashallah, you guys are the best boys I ever taught. And I know, for example, I can leave 1 million riyals in front of you guys, a million riyals, and I know that you guys will not steal because you all have integrity. Okay? Intellectual. ذهني. Intellectual, I would say, is more like somebody who thinks a lot. So, maybe fikri, right? Somebody who's thinking. This is what I think would be a better example of what an intellectual is. So, we're trying to say in this book, Salah al-Din is an intellectual, and he's always thinking. Okay. Mausoleum is like I don't know what that word is. The Zariha. okay? But a mausoleum is like the qabr, okay? Like a place where dead people would be, okay? The pilgrimage is al-hajj, right? So we all know that what the hajj is, and that's what a pilgrimage is, okay? Um, Reinforcements. So reinforcements are like when you have an army and then you have another army that will come and support that army, right? So التعزيزات التعزيزات, okay, is what they came up with for reinforcements. I hope I'm not saying that wrong, but it's when you have one army and then you have another group of the same army that comes to help, okay? And sporadically, I would say it's just something that happens at different times, okay? So something that happens one time and happens another time, that's sporadically, okay? I hope I didn't do too bad of a job, and inshallah, you guys understood the words and you guys understand it from there, and I didn't embarrass myself too much, but I'm hoping you guys understood from what I was explaining. Anyways, we're going to begin the book now, so please pay attention and focus, inshallah. Okay, so again, here are the same words repeated, and here are the definitions. And your assignment today is to take 5 of these words and use them in a sentence. Okay, so take 5 of these words, and you're going to make 5 sentences for me using these words. I know they're big words, they're challenging words, but I know you guys can use your dictionaries, and you will be able to write me some very nice sentences with this words. And that's your only job for today. Okay? All right. Now I'm only going to read one page today, and we'll see where we end up throughout the week. Okay, so the first thing to focus on here, boys, is the map. Okay, and as you can see, Qatar would be right over here. This is Bahrain, and Qatar is over here. Okay, and the area that we're really going to focus on is the Al Sham. Al Sham is this area that takes part of Syria, um, and Palestine and Lebanon, and I guess a little bit of Egypt as well. And so this is the region that Salahuddin was in mostly, and also Iraq. Okay, so he was actually born in Tikrit, and then he moved over to this area. But we're going to learn about that right now. Okay, and if you want, I'll go back to the map from time to time, but it's a very important thing to understand. So here's Kuwait, here is Iran, there's Turkey, and so just so you have an understanding of which area this is taking place in, right? Saudi is over here, Jordan is over here, right, and Syria is over here. So just so you have an understanding of where these events are taking place. Okay, Jerusalem. Remember, we watched a speech of King Faisal last year talking about Al-Quds, and Jerusalem is Al-Quds. Okay, Al-Quds al-Sharif. It's a very old city, and it's one of the most important cities for us in Islam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he went there in the night, and he made salah there. And when he made salah there, all of the Anbiya were praying behind him, right, in this place here. So an Al-Aqsa Masjid. Okay, so it's a very important thing. This city of Jerusalem, Al-Quds, is a very important place in Islam. Okay, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. The world of Saladin. Okay, in English they call him Saladin, Salah al-Din. Okay, nearly 900 years ago, a boy named Saladin lived in the Middle East, a region with a wealth of culture and history. He would grow up to become perhaps the most famous Muslim military leader of all time. Okay, we know he's one of the great ones, right? Salah al-Din, Khalid bin Walid, Umar bin Khattab, many great leaders. Okay, the complex region where Salah al-Din was born is the birthplace of 3 major world religions: Judaism, the Yahud, the Islam, and Christianity, right? Um, Followers of the 3 religions share the city of Jerusalem, home to many sacred buildings and other sites. People's uh, people's passions about this region run deep. Guys, do you know what the word sacred means? Sacred, muqaddas. Okay, muqaddas. Okay, so that's why Jerusalem is a very important city. The Middle East has long been embroiled in conflict. Nearly 40 years before Salah al-Din was born in 1099, Western European Christians, known as the Franks. So these people came from France. Okay, they captured the important shared religious homeland of Jerusalem. So they took over Al-Quds 40 years before Salah al-Din was born. They promised safety to the city's Muslims and the Jewish people there, but instead they slaughtered thousands of them. So they killed many of them. Okay, years later, Salah al-Din was determined to reclaim Jerusalem for Muslims. Okay, so I'm just gonna read about young Salah al-Din today, and then we're gonna move on tomorrow to a new lesson. Okay, young Salah al-Din. Salah al-Din was born in 1137 or 1138. Okay, to a prominent Muslim family in Tikrit, Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia is Iraq, okay? Far from Jerusalem. Today, what was Mesopotamia is mostly Iraq, but also parts of Syria, Turkey, and Iran. Salah ad-Din was the son of a wealthy chief of Kurdish, he's a Kurdi, okay, ethnicity, okay? Kurdish people are these people, they live in Iraq, Syria, Turkey, Iran, and they're a group that they're between the Arabs and the Turks, okay? So they're a mixed group there. The family left Tikrit when Salah ad-Din was an infant. They moved west to Aleppo. Aleppo is a city named Halab in northern Syria, which was part of the Turkish Empire and under the leadership of Sultan Zengi. Salah ad-Din's father entered Zengi's service soon after. So his father started working for Sultan Zengi. Okay, I'm going to leave it there so you guys don't get totally bored. So you just have to do the assignment today, 5 sentences from these words. Okay, 5 sentences using these words, and then we'll continue with the rest of the book.